I know some of you guys look at the videos and you go, man, he must be the biggest Xbox hater. Maybe some of you would be interested to know that I own every Xbox. I have owned every Xbox since day one. I play the most on my Xbox Series X. I have over 1,500 games, digital games installed on it. I own hundreds more physically for it. So, I'm a big Xbox fan. The problem is that Microsoft is, and this is the problem all along that I've had, Microsoft is really hurting the fans with how they're doing these things, and now we know why. This news came out today, could be marking the official end of the Xbox, in my opinion, in terms of how we know it. Will that be able to kind of it brings some answers? Like, we finally get some answers, and I'm going to get right into this. So this report just came out, and according to this report, Microsoft CFO Amy Hood forces Xbox to deliver an insane 30% profit margin, which is why everything is so crazy, and they've raised prices. So when they raised the price of the consoles, Game Pass, when they tried to raise the prices of the games, and everybody's like, why? And people are like, well, tariffs and this and market condition. There's no market conditions. This is a $4 trillion company. It's because they have to stand on their own. And basically, I'm going to get into why a company does this. So it's not a good thing, by the way. An industry margin far beyond what's typical for gaming in general, which will devastate the business if they don't rectify it soon. I'm going to link this article. You can check it out. This one's from Windows Central. According to Jez Gordon, he had heard a rumor that Microsoft was forcing Xbox to deliver a 30% profit margin. However, unable to land enough concrete evidence, he'd hoped that the insane figure had been hearsay. It must have been, right? Well, apparently it's not. Bloomberg reporters Dina Bass and Jason Schreier just revealed that Microsoft CFO Amy Hood is indeed asking Xbox to meet an accountability margin of 30%, which is far, far in excess of reasonable targets for video game industry, and in particular, the gaming hardware industry. Over the past few years, Microsoft's gaming division has undergone some insane and self-destructive transitions, cutting studios, slashing market budgets, and sprinting to release games on rival platforms to the detriment of its own. Microsoft has also rapidly hiked prices, harming customers while laying off literal thousands, reducing any semblance of goodwill Xbox had, left down to zero now. Remember, back in the day, guys, Microsoft did a lot to kind of get some goodwill back. Everybody was talking positively about Xbox. They were doing some very pro-consumer things, and now it's like they just realistically aren't really doing anything that's going to keep that kind of goodwill there. You know what I mean? They were doing so many things that people were just really excited about Xbox. I was excited about Xbox. I think they bit off more than they could chew with the Activision stuff, which seems pretty obvious now. For me anyway, I was disappointed with the output of exclusive games, and so basically what happened was I was like, maybe not even going to get a Series X this generation, or at least at first, and then they bought Bethesda, and I was like, whoa, this changes everything. And then they said, Bethesda games are going to be exclusive where Xbox Game Pass is. So I thought, hey, that's good news. And, next thing you know, things are kind of changing and things like this. Now, according to this has only been happening for the last 2 years. It does not relieve Phil Spencer of any of these problems, just to be clear. He's been in charge for over a decade. The changes, according to Bloomberg, coincide with Microsoft CFO Amy Hood taking a greater role in the gaming business at Xbox. The 30% profit demands are far beyond industry averages, which range in the low 20s at best. So the averages for profit in gaming is 17% to about 22% at the highest. No company is really doing above that. So, again, it's just one of those things where we're kind of looking at how these things are kind of turning out, and this doesn't look good anyway. So, a lot of sources have been blaming Amy Hood for major issues at Xbox right now as Microsoft doubles down on short-term goals and shareholder pandering over long-term goals and customer feedback. The cancellation of promising games like Perfect Dark, Contraband, and others is a direct result of Xbox's lead Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Tim Stewart attempted to balance Microsoft's corporate demands without tanking the entire business. The amount of strain this arbitrary goal has put on Xbox cannot be overstated. as staffers, customers, and even third-party developers feel the gradual toxification of the Xbox brand. In response, Microsoft issued the following statement, which really doesn't address the chaos the firm has embraced over the last couple of years. According to this, Microsoft has provided the following statement, which was offered in parts on the original report from Bloomberg. Quote, "We take a long-term view in how we run our business and set goals. We aim high but stay flexible. Knowing that success doesn't look the same across every project or priority, we look at the business as a whole, balancing creativity, innovation, and sustainability across a diverse portfolio of offerings. As with any creative businesses, sometimes that means making hard decisions and stopping work on things that are no longer working for a variety of reasons and shifting resources towards the projects that are more aligned with our direction and priorities. And while each team and project might vary from each other, one goal we share across the whole business is to make great games and deliver experiences our players will enjoy for years to come." So this is a bunch of nonsense, right? That's like damage control by Microsoft's part, basically saying, yeah, we cut stuff and we have like these high margins that we have to meet, or whatever the case may be. And that's super unfortunate in my opinion, because you have to be able to, like it's crazy, because as successful as Sony is, right, PlayStation, and this is their most profitable, it still is only about 23% profit, right? So that goes to show you how insane this is. Now, over the summer, Microsoft attempted to raise the base price of its games to $80, a move that was met with significant public backlash. Instead, they decided to rework the Game Pass tiers, targeting the most sticky and dedicated Game Pass Ultimate subscribers with an extortionate 50% price hike. Xbox Series X and S game consoles have also seen aggressive price increases, and even Xbox development kits have seen that as well. The inconsistent messaging and seemingly desperate price hikes have people questioning whether or not Microsoft is deliberately sabotaging Xbox, and it certainly seems that way. Microsoft has been forced to repeatedly come out and deny that it's looking to kill Xbox hardware, and deny that retailers are canceling orders. With Activision Blizzard, Microsoft's gaming division surpassed Windows itself in the firm's diversified business. But with the AI boom fueling Microsoft's share price, CEO Satya Nadella is enjoying a $100 million paycheck in stock incentives this year alone, which preclude gaming from the equation. With analysts and spectators trying to figure out whether or not the AI boom is actually predicting a gigantic AI bust, you'd think Microsoft would want to ensure its diversified business model remains healthy to reduce exposure, but apparently not. The spirit of short-term thinking is an anti-consumer ideology will not only fail to deliver its desired 30% profit margins, but will serve only to crater the only viable consumer brand Microsoft has left. When will the greed end? That's a really tough thing right now, So basically, this goes into great detail. Great article. I'll link this in the description. According to reports, she set the target for 30%, which is unusually high. Why it's considered insane: most gaming platforms operate on much thinner margins, especially when factoring in hardware costs, game development, and subscription services. A 30% margin suggests major cost-cutting or revenue-boosting measures, which can disrupt studios, developers, and consumers. The pressure to hit high margins may explain recent moves like price hikes, studio closures, and a stronger push towards subscription models and cloud gaming. It's also fueling speculation that Xbox's long-term commitment to traditional console gaming is not there. Developers face tighter budgets, more monetization pressure, and shift in priorities towards games that align with Microsoft's financial goals. Some insiders suggest this could lead to fewer experimental titles and focus on proven franchises. So, Microsoft is increasingly focused on AI, cloud services, and enterprise growth. The Xbox is being asked to align with that vision. The 30% margin target reflects a shift from Xbox as a passion project to Xbox as a business, expected to operate in the same way to some of its investors and things like that, despite actually being in an entertainment business. So again, you can see less risky stuff. And I know people go, oh, well, didn't they just release Keeper, etc.? I would say that Double Fine's in danger. I would say that Ninja Theory's in danger. These games were well in development before the 2-year cycle of this happening. So yeah, it's a big problem. The funny thing is, if Phil Spencer had taken a more heavy approach at marketing Xbox and making Xbox viable for people and making people want one, if you had 60, you don't have to have the 85, 89 million sold that PlayStation 5 does. If you had 60, 65 million sold, you could have 50 million Game Pass subscribers right now. You could be selling a ton more subscriptions and microtransactions. That's how it works. So they left that, and they keep trying to say that's antiquated, that's old school, but it's not. That's the way people want to play and play their games and their consoles and stuff like that. So Microsoft kind of cool guide themselves out, but you can't let Phil off the hook. 10 years of this, his idea to buy Activision, this is bad news all around. Usually they build up, they want to see this insane stress if it can actually reach these targets. If not, you might divest completely. If it can hold it for a certain amount of time, maybe you reinvest, but it's highly unlikely that that'll happen. So it doesn't look good. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.